If I showed you the German tech tree right now and told you, okay, find me one tank that is underrated and that nobody plays with, you will probably answer VK4502A or something like that. But did you know that there is one tank that is even more underrated than the VK? And it's called the Indian Panzer, a tank that leads to the Leopard 1. And luckily for you, this tank became even more underrated because thanks to the 9.3 update, it received a couple of buffs. One on the gun, going from 6.7 seconds of reload to 6.1, and the second one on the engine because now it speeds and turns faster. But even if you're gonna see through the replays, the mobility is still not the best. Well, when it comes to the gun, they really made some great improvements because take a look at the DPM you have with this tank when you're fully equipped. Nearly 2.6 thousand, which makes it a total deadly machine with which you are gonna annihilate many people. Based on the fact that as we never see this tank in battle, people assume that it's bad. Let me prove you wrong. We are going to take a look at two replays today, one in which I'm going to play passively and the second one where I'm going to play actively. So you can see both sides of the gameplay with this tank and maybe that it will give you the feeling of playing it, and therefore I will have done something with my life, at least on World of Tank Blitz and YouTube. So what are we going to do in this one? You see that we're top tier. We don't lack of penetration at all. We don't lack of gun depression either. So what we are going to try is finding a position from which we have the possibility of sniping without getting punished for it. And the best position right there, knowing my teammates went on the left side, is to go on that little place near the castle, or what should have been walls, I guess, or something like that. And well, you see that I tried this position. I'm not too comfortable taking this position. I nearly never take it. And it really didn't serve me well. I took a shot straight into my only weak spot, which is the cupola of the tank. But beside that, if you take any other shots within your turret, it will bounce. And this is what I really like about this tank. Because as it's a German tank, many people expect to be able to penetrate you using regular shells or even gold shells in the gun mantlet. And you can prove them wrong so fast, it's hilarious. Now let's take a look. There is the Lansen C. We're going to take a couple of shots here, but luckily for us, if you take a look at the map, the E25 is coming to the rescue. Now I'm trying to over-angle a little bit to make him bounce, and bang, it worked. Now we are already sitting at 1.2 thousand damage because thanks to our reload time and the adrenaline, we are sitting at only 4.3 seconds of reload for 225 alpha damage, and it shows. It shows. Just take a look at how easy it is for us to snipe many tanks. And on top of that, thanks to the reload buff this tank received, you can perma-track even easily your opponents without struggling at all, to be honest. Just take a look at that. We snipe one shot in the Annihilator, and before the Emil has time to finish off his intra-clip reload, we managed to steal the 2 kills and get both of the Annihilators. Now going back on the SU-130 PM, this time with HE obviously, to finish off the job the way God intended. Bang, bang, bang. Thanks for coming, ISU-130 PM. See you soon on the next. And now the only thing we have to deal with is the 53 TP, thanks to our penetration, our great penetration with our mighty German tank. And just like that, we win the game featuring 2.8 thousand damage and 3 kills. This is the Indian Panzer for you all, and this is definitely the kind of tank you shouldn't be sleeping on. In both the active and the passive gameplay, you're gonna find that I only show my turret to my opponents, which is logical for 2 reasons. The first is I have 10 degrees of gun depression, so if I only show my turret, I can use my gun depression effectively. And the second factor is the armor. The only part armored on that tank is located on the turret, as long as you don't get shot straight into the cupola. But to be fair with you, it's not gonna happen too much because this cupola is actually well hidden. It's not like a big top thing like the kind of thing you can find on the T110E4 or something like that. Here we are safe to go, and for the beginning we are not trying too much all down. To be honest with you, I just wanted to sneak 1 or 2 shells on that Shiri, and unfortunately I was a little bit too greedy trying to sneak in another one on the Shiri that cost me 2 shells from him directly into my hull. But hey, that's the beginning of the game. It's only 1 minute past, and I mean, we're not gonna complain. All we have to do is survive and wait for our teammates to do the job for us. So what kind of playstyle do you want to adopt overall with this tank? Do you really want to go passive or active? Basically, between the two replays, I'm showing you which one is the most effective. In my opinion, the active one is probably the best in both terms of fun and efficiency, over the fact that with this tank you can bounce your targets. So you can try to play aggressively, at least spotting aggressively for the rest of your team in order to get support from the tank destroyers in the back, but also yourself do your damage. So how do we do this? You see that at the beginning, we stayed a little bit in retreat, waiting for the opponents to show themselves, to try to sneak some shells, maybe try to push forward. And as soon as I see that I have an opportunity to put myself in all down and therefore block their advance, there we go. This is exactly what we are doing with the Škoda and the P-44 Pantera. Both tanks know that now it's over for them, they can't do anything, and therefore they are gonna die in fire, knowing that we damn well will get our damage. And now we get into the most interesting part of the replay, from which I want you to see the enemy point of view. Take a look at this RHM. Take a look at what he's gonna see. Here, from this position, the enemies only see my turret. Just take a look at how hard it seems to penetrate my cupola, because there is literally maybe 1, 2, 3 centimeters maximum on which you can penetrate, and I can tell you that people will struggle, thanks to their poor gun dispersion, to get one shot in it. Of course, you gotta keep in mind that you still have this little shotgun, not shotgun, but machine gun on the side of the tank that is penetrable, but it's rounded, which means that if someone shoots between this plate here, I don't know if I make myself clear, whoops, sorry. If someone shoots, stop moving, between this plate and the machine gun, they will automatically bounce. They really need to shoot the flat part of the machine gun, which is still really hardcore to get. And all of that combines allows us to just sneak our shells without necessarily struggling against any opponents. On top of that, if you make sure between each shots to move away thanks to your gun dispersion that is awesome, you will not struggle penetrating. So if you combine hold down plus moving every time after shooting to a safe cover, I feel like it's impossible for you to do a bad game, or at least play the tank poorly. And well, allowing us to do 2,300 damage, we are gonna climb. It's gonna climb, boys. It's gonna climb again and again. And another thing about the tank, a downside in my opinion, is that even if they touched the mobility, it still feels not enough. Here, for example, I really wanted to attack fast the Smasher and the RHM. I still managed to make my game because luckily for me, the RHM took a long time to aim. But if I had something like a Panzer 2 that seems to be much bigger, but with a better mobility, we could have pushed forward on that RHM and the Smasher, and I would have rammed the Smasher before he even realized that I was here. Which was not the case here, unfortunately, but hey, you can't get everything, the armor, the gun, and the mobility, otherwise it's called a Progetto 46 and it's totally broken. And to finish off, not only are the statistics good, the fact that nobody plays it makes it easier to get first class and ace tankers with it, which means that you are going to make a lot of credits. It can be a great alternative for someone that has some skill but no money to spend on the game, because with this one you can easily climb up to 50,000, maybe even 70,000 credits per game, even more if you do ace tankers, because no one plays it. So guys, it's underrated, trust me, buy an Indian Panzer. And now, before ending this video, I'm gonna answer the mighty question. Why is that thing underrated? If it was that good, why isn't nobody playing with it? And the answer is quite simple. To get to the Leopard 1, you have two ways. It's either you go to the VK3001D that you can see right there, or you can go to the VK2801. And the thing is, the light branch of the German tech tree is extremely popular. VK2801 is great. The Speak, not that good to be fair, but the RU251, knowing that it's going to be buffed as well, is just incredible. And people would rather play an RU251 than an Indian Panzer, even knowing that both of them will lead you to the Leopard 1. It's understandable, but trust me, do not sleep on that tank. You are gonna regret it. So hopefully you enjoyed. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like, and share, and tell me in the comments what you think about the Indian Panzer. Did you ever play it at one point into your World of Tank Blitz career, or are you still sleeping on it? And if that's the case, please guys, promise me you will give it a try, because this thing definitely deserves it. See ya.